Radical Radio Collective.
4ZZZ. Good afternoon, listeners. You're tuned into 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. This is Eco Radio, Australia's longest-running peace and environment radio show.
Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Possibly. 99% of the time,
yeah.
It is Australia's longest-running peace and environment radio show 100% of the time.
Yeah. 49 years, probably.
Yeah.
Well, we're taking over your middle of the day, middle of the week, endish of the month airwaves. My name is Dave. My pronouns are he, him.
My name is Zack. My pronouns are he, they.
And we want to start off by acknowledging and paying our respects to the custodians on the country in which we broadcast. We're located in the city Mangangin on Turrbal Yagara Yugambal land. I also want to acknowledge and pay my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are listening in today. Our radio waves reach Cubby Cubby and Unibara country in the north, Waka Waka country in the west. In the east, we pay our respects to the Quandamooka people, and down south we reach the Commonwery, Nigaragwal, Mununjali, Wandjerabara and Yugambeh countries, and Bundjalung countries. Thank you very much for that. There is no Crown land. Thank you to No Idea for all the great ideas. Today on the show, Zack, we're going to be talking about some news. Mm-hmm. We've got crocodile and algal bloom news.
All the fun stuff. There's only positive news on Eco Radio this week.
Yeah, and actually, kind of true. It's going to be National Tree Day on Sunday.
Oh, true.
So I want to appreciate some of the wattles that are in full bloom at the moment. Mm-hmm. But this weekend, or last weekend, it was jam-packed. Yep. I had a great time at Victoria Park talking to all the folks that showed up for that get-together. I got to hear Jono Sri Ranganathan doing some poetry. I talked to Rose O'Hagan from Save Victoria Park. It was just great to see so many people out there who are passionate about saving public green spaces from development. So a big thank you to Linda Rose for organising that. Also, I heard Arnie Sandy King on Let's Talk last night going through the importance of Victoria Park for Yagara people. Mm-hmm. So listen back to that if you can find it. You're listening to 4ZZZ. This is Eco Radio. I am Dave.
I am Zack.
And we're going to do some news for you. So let's crack into it.
Eco Radio.
Eco Radio.
Eco News.
We all know that capitalism needs growth to survive, but in a finite world you can't have growth.
The Radical Radio Collective.
Living in a tiny house. Community gardens. Downsizing. People power.
Mutual aid.
Using glass bottles was important.
Pushing emissions underground to drive up more oil.
Veganism is an ethical way of living.
Eco Radio News. Starting off your Eco Radio News for the 23rd of July, there was another possible crocodile sighting in southeast Queensland on the weekend. James Graham, an experienced Noosa angler, reported a strange picture on his underwater fish finder. The pictures look like a silhouette of a crocodile that was quickly making its way to shallower water. However, that is the only vision that James had of something beneath the surface. James alerted the Queensland Parks and Wildlife Rangers, who have been in search of the crocodile since Sunday, but are yet to find anything. Rangers are using drones and boats to scour the Noosa waterways for any crocodiles. Program coordinator Scott Booth said that there had not been any other public sightings since Mr. Graham's report. Mr. Booth also said that the sighting is probably more indicative of potentially a dolphin or a shark. While Gladstone's Boyne River, 300 kilometres north of Noosa, is considered to be the southern extent of crocodile habitat, earlier this month a crocodile was euthanized by rangers after being found in the Mary River, which is just 50 kilometres inland from Noosa. Department of Environment crocodile management team shot the crocodile against the wishes of traditional owners from Buchare Native Title Aboriginal Corporation. There was also a crocodile spotted at Inskip Point, about 60 kilometres north of Noosa, but there were not any subsequent sightings. Professor Craig Franklin from the University of Queensland told the ABC that it's not out of the question for there to be a crocodile in Noosa. Professor Franklin said that the crocodiles can travel up to 60 kilometres in a day, but notes that there is nothing to worry about until rangers could confirm whether or not the sighting was credible. The Department of Environment encouraged crocodile sightings to be reported via the Q Wildlife app or to the Department of Environment, Tourism, Science and Innovation.
Cool.
Zach.
Yes.
Did you see that story?
Not until you put it on the Google Docs last night.
But you have a look at the picture that he saw on the fish finder.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, it looks like a croc. And it does if you say it looks like a croc. If you say it looks like a dolphin, it also looks like a dolphin.
We're doing a Rorschach test here.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Could I look at it and see my parents fighting each other?
You might be able to, yeah. So, yeah, it could have been a crocodile, could have been a dolphin, could have been a shark. It was very big, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
How big are we talking?
Crocodile sized.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Dugong sized, dolphin sized.
Yeah, there is a lot of things that are that size, I suppose.
Yeah, in Noosa, yeah.
Yeah. Particularly if you're just, like, looking at a tail, and then it's like, oh, here's a mass at one end as well with a bit of a long tail. It's like, could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
Couldn't it?
Especially, it's a depth sounder, so it just bounces back sound and it comes up with a vision on
the legendary 3-meter flathead there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
No, so Professor Craig Franklin was one of my lecturers at university as well.
Yeah, right.
But I think there's another interesting point regarding climate change here is that as the temperature continues to increase, it's likely that the crocodile's range will extend further and further south.
Yep. Yeah. So we're seeing that there's been a earlier mark for whale sightings up in the in our southeast Queensland region, the coastline. So there has definitely been a warming of the ocean that has allowed, some animals to migrate differently. Is that affecting crocodiles as well? I don't know. I'm not the professor.
Yeah, I think generally from what at least Mr. Franklin was teaching me, or Dr. Franklin I should say, was teaching me when I was in his classes, that they are. It's allowing crocodiles to live further and further south. These sightings are likely to become more common. Yeah.
There is also less crocodile culls going on. So as crocodiles are territorial animals, they might be pushing the younger males further out of their territory.
Oh, Bob Catter's going to have such a huge vindication after this.
Yeah. He's going to have the whole country talking about crocodiles.
Yeah, every 3 months.
We're not going to be able to talk about any other issues. Because every 3 months there's someone is attacked by a crocodile.
Not 1,000 blossoms bloom, Dave.
Paul O'Kane reckons it could have been a goanna.
Interesting.
It could have been anything, Paul. It could have been some rubbish.
Bit of a tree at the bottom.
Yeah. Zach, what news have you got for me?
So I've brought some information on the toxic algae bloom that is occurring in South Australia at the moment. This was something I wasn't really aware of until the weekend, and then it kind of got picked up by the ABC, SBS, and a few other big media organisations starting Monday. But yesterday, the South Australian Premier, Peter Malinowskis, described the algal bloom that is occurring off the coast of South Australia at the moment, just south of Adelaide, as a natural disaster. Just obviously very different to the like that we've seen before. So this algal bloom now covers an area twice the size of the ACT. So for context, the ACT is about 100 kilometres from its top to the bottom, so you could drive for 200 kilometres or so along this, along an algae bloom, and you would only just reach the end of it.
Yeah, right.
Quite significant. So the algal bloom was first detected in March this year, with a size originally around that of Kangaroo Island, just off the coast of South Australia.
Yep.
But since then, it has been breaking up and spreading, and it is now covering the Adelaide beaches, the Coorong wetlands, and parts of the Spencer Gulf. And this algal bloom is problematic as it kills wildlife, mostly marine wildlife. Mostly marine wildlife, but there's some like birds that also get caught up in it.
Yeah, okay.
But fish species are the main victims, which includes things like sharks, leafy sea dragons, I just said shorebirds, octopuses, and I don't think I've seen any reports on this on the media, but I checked the iNaturalist. There's an iNaturalist recording for this marine mortality event, and things like the southern bottlenose dolphin has been caught up in it as well.
Yeah.
So what this does is that it damages the gills, and that makes it difficult for them.
But does it clog them up, does it?
Yeah, it does that. Plus, it just interferes with their ability to kind of like intake oxygen a lot of the time. And then as well, when algae starts to decompose, that can actually use up a lot of oxygen in the water as well.
Yeah.
And that can create like hypoxic conditions leading to suffocation of water breathing animals.
Yeah, hypoxic would be taking the oxygen out of the water, yeah.
Yeah. And this also has health impacts on humans, with the original report coming from people who were experiencing watery eyes, irritated skin, and were having trouble breathing.
Yeah, right.
And this continues to affect the aquaculture and tourism industries of South Australia because their fisheries get impacted, aquaculture as well, as I described, and obviously we love a beach here in Australia, and a beach with a bunch of algae on it is not very
appealing.
Attractive.
Yeah.
So what causes this algal bloom? There was a Dr. Nina Wotton, a marine scientist at the University of Queensland, has suggested that the rather warm summer, a marine heat wave, and then a delay in seasonal temperature dropping is likely responsible for why there has been such a large outbreak in this algae. So algal blooms are like a natural part of the environment, but this seems to be, when it's causing issues of this magnitude, that's something that's not like entirely natural, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's occurring when it really probably shouldn't be. There were hopes that the cooler weather may reduce in size, but there's also been a rather mild winter, so that hasn't really quelled it. Then there was a doctor, I'm probably going to butcher his name here, Jochen Kempf from Flinders University, who has published a paper suggesting that the algal bloom is likely to spread in the summer and could take up ranges from just on the South Australian Victoria coast right up to Port Lincoln, which is on the other side of the what would you call it? Not peninsula. Yeah, right on the other side of like the peninsula next to Adelaide. And there's a whole what would you call it? Trough? No. I don't know what you call it anyway. And this is likely to have a long-lasting impact on fisheries. It's going to take years for populations to recover. Currently, the federal government has provided $40 million to assist South Australia in dealing with it. A lot of that's likely to go to research and kind of mitigation tactics with it.
Right.
The Greens have called for the classification as a natural disaster as well, which I think some of the rationale has been that it's like a bushfire but under the water. But the Environment Minister, Mr. Watt, has currently declined calling it as such.
Okay. So how does it get fixed? Is it like, can you scrape it all up, or like what's the...
So there was I'm going to try and find it, but the same person, I believe the name was Nina Wotton, has suggested there's a few ways that you could do it. You could kind of like place clay along it, which will drag it down or something. I'm not entirely familiar with it, but essentially with every single solution, there's going to be some problems with it. So it's never going to be a, fix something like entirely get rid of the algal bloom, and there's going to be no repercussions after that. Kind of like the solutions are also a bit of a problem.
Yeah, right. Stacey texted in and asked if you were talking about the Eyre Peninsula and St Vincent's Gulf.
Yes, would be correct. Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you, Stacey. Right, so no real solution to that.
Not that from what I understand, at least. But this is obviously something that's still developing. An algal bloom of this magnitude doesn't occur very often, if it has at all, and there's going to need to be research put into it, obviously. And especially when considering that there are a variety of different algal species, you're going to have to research for an individual species rather than having a blanket approach based on previous algal blooms.
Yeah, right. Far out. Okay, that's worrying.
Paradigm Shift's podcast is available online and via your favourite podcasting app, challenging the assumptions of our current society to investigate alternative ways of living for a world based on justice, solidarity and sustainability. Tune in to the Paradigm Shift podcast. Just search The Paradigm Shift for ZZZ.
That's another gig that's happening in our city, which I am now calling Gig City. It's no longer Pig City, it's Gig City. And we've got so many gigs coming up for the 50th celebration of this station.
Yeah.
And if you want to become part of the family, of the 4ZZZ family, you can go to 4zzz.org.au/support. And how much does it cost to become a family member?
A family member?
Of the 4ZZZ family.
Oh, okay. I thought you were suggesting for the whole family, which I'm like, the closest would be a household, which you can do for $300. That's for a full year, but the minimum, $25 for an under 18-year-old or a pet.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do a full subscription, that is $80. Then if you want to get some cool merch as well, get a tote bag, get a shirt, that one will be $140. And then if you want to go the full, all the way, you can get a super sub, that is $500. Get your name up on the wall downstairs, make all the lights go off in the studio, and we'll love you forever. And I will personally drive out to your, or to any place that you choose and give you a little forehead kiss. Which I don't know if that will actually entice anyone any further. It might put some people off. But
Zack does look a bit like Heath Ledger in Two Hands, though, so that might actually entice people.
I look like Michael Hutchence from In Excess as well, actually.
Yeah,
that's the other one I get a lot.
Yeah, two dead people. Thanks for that, Zack.
You're welcome.
But yeah, we are Gig City this year. You can get early access or discounted tickets to the fantastic Z50 gigs. The big one's coming up at Roma Street Parklands in October, where the Saints are going to be playing, Regurgitator, Tropical Left Storm, Full Flower Moon Band, Butterfingers. There's just, a multitude of gigs happening around our city this year. It's going to be great. I think beer stock is already sold out. There's just so many great reasons to support 4ZZZ and your community radio station. So if you like what we do, please head to 4zzz.org.au/support and become part of the family. It's the first step in becoming a volunteer at our station, and some might argue the most important step.
Yeah. There is also a prize for subscribing this one, and this is a Mixed 6 Stopper Pack. So, if you want a chance of winning that, there's a lot of great flavours with that, such as salted raspberry and chamomile, caramelised pear and kombu. But there's, fair few there. If you want to potentially win that 6-pack.
Yeah, a little bit of a bonus for you if you subscribe in this month.
Yeah, along with getting discounted tickets, isn't it?
Yeah, discounted tickets. Also, there's sub-discount outlets. No, reverse garbage. Queensland is one that I use really often.
Yeah.
For discounted items. So.
It'll pay itself back really quickly if you head to any of the 4ZZZ affiliated businesses, because it's about 5 to 10% off everywhere.
Yeah, it's really great.
Well, not everywhere, but yeah, obviously.
You also get to know who's in the community.
Yeah.
You're listening to 4ZZZ. This is Eco Radio. Coming up this Sunday, Zach, is National Tree Day, which is one of the days that we can celebrate trees. We can celebrate trees any day, and I will. But today, I specifically want to talk about one of the trees that's in full bloom around our city, which is the acacia, or wattles.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have a mixed relationship with wattles, I'm not going to lie.
Do you? Why?
I had pretty bad hay fever growing up, and every time it would get to spring, I would know about it.
So apparently, I don't get into in this spiel about wattles today, but apparently wattle pollen is too heavy to affect hay fever.
There's another tree out there that was responsible for my misery growing up.
Yeah, apparently. So yeah,
I apologise.
There have been studies about it. Because it is like a big myth out there.
I apologise to all the wattles. I've had not a
grudge.
very positive view on you for many years.
Yeah,
but
a lot of people do. That's why they're not street trees a lot of the time.
You've firmly moved into the neutral section for me now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully I get to change that a little bit for you, because I think they're just fantastic trees. Out in bloom at the moment, specifically I've seen the Queensland silver wattle, which is a beautiful tree, the Brisbane wattle, Acacia fimbriata, and the zigzag wattle, which is just a fantastic tree that I love to see in bloom.
Why is
those lovely little golden wattles?
Why is it called the zigzag wattle?
So the stem moves in alternate directions.
Like a zigzag?
Yeah, like a zigzag.
Why is it called the Brisbane wattle?
That's mainly because it's just a wattle in Brisbane a lot.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, there are over 1,000 different species of what are commonly called wattles. For context here, there are only 700 species of eucalypts. So it dwarfs eucalypts in Australia. The wattles, I can't just call all acacias, though. There was a big dispute about what species could retain the name acacia. Other countries vied to have their species keep the name acacia, and the discussion ranged from where the acacia DNA originated, or what species was first classified, to where the most species are located now. So Africa has 144 species of acacia, or what we'll call acacia for now. Asia has 89. The Americas have about 185. And Australia and the Pacific have 993 species of acacia. So actually, it was an Australian who decided to rename some of the species of acacia. The Queensland herbarium botanist Les Pedley actually wanted to rename all the Australian species into Racosperma instead of acacia.
It doesn't have quite as an appealing name as acacia.
No, because it's got sperm in there. So Mr. Pedley started renaming the acacias in Queensland to Racosperma, but nobody followed up. All the other states were like, no, that's not for us. That was until DNA sequencing became a tool. So in the year 2000, DNA studies showed that the acacia genus was actually at least 5 different separate genera. One large, primarily Australian group, 2 groups of a couple of hundred species found across Africa, Asia, and the Americas, and a 3 much smaller group found in the Americas. So botanists and taxonomists decided one genus would become 5. Of those new genera, one would keep the name acacia. And this was a long battle. with people, discussing about why they should retain the name acacia. In 2005, the International Botanical Congress in Vienna came to the conclusion with a minority vote that Australia would retain the name acacia. Africa and the Americas would have to change their name to Vichelia. Which doesn't roll off the tongue as well. But that wasn't the end of Africa's incursion into the Australian acacia space. For a long time, Western Queensland has had a problem with an African wattle. So out there is a plant named the prickly acacia, which I suppose should be renamed the prickly Vichelia. This species came over from Africa by way of India and is actually the first acacia species to be described. It now goes by the name Vichelia nilotica, and it has become a weed of national significance and is capable of producing 200,000 seeds per year.
That's a lot of seeds.
That's an insane amount of seeds from one plant.
Well, I've found our solution to the lack of trees in some places. We should just
put in a weed.
Yeah, let's go and put it back in like Scotland or Ireland. They've lost like most of their trees.
Yeah, they actually.
Iceland, they need more trees.
Well, it was in the early 1900s that this tree, the prickly acacia, was planted as a shade and ornamental tree in Bowen and Rockhampton regions, and it was later recommended as fodder for sheep. But it now shades out the native Mitchell grass and prevents animals from getting into waterways. The prickly acacia has now just finished a successful trial of biocontrol in Western Queensland, with a herd of camels being able to effectively stop the spread of the weed. So the weed clogs up areas, but because camels are adapted to controlling it, they've now been successful in stopping the spread of those 200,000 seeds per year.
And the camels were already here, so it's not a case of...
So
it's not a case of introducing the cane toad to get rid of the cane.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
But, definitely another introduced species.
Did you know that Saudi Arabia imports its camels from Australia?
I did know that, yeah. We're the only continent to have a wild camel population.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't it?
No Bactrian camels anywhere? The two-humped ones? Yeah.
Oh, I think the one-humped ones are dromedaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the two humps are... Bactrians,
yeah.
Okay. However, there is something to be said that the prickly acacia affects cattle grazing, and that's why it's considered one of the worst weeds in Australia. While Echidna, another tree from the Fabaceae family, the pea family, is used as fodder for grazing animals, but infests our bushlands and national parks, and is not prohibited or restricted to invasive plant biosecurity acts. So,
weird.
Yeah, one plant affects our production, our money. The other one helps our money. Both are weeds, only one is decided to be a weed of national significance. So,
terminology around what is and isn't a weed anyway is kind of strange, because a weed just means that
something you don't want in a place.
Yeah, it's not the same as an invasive species where some parts of some native Australian plants could be considered weeds in certain locations just because someone doesn't want it there.
Yeah.
But why do you love acacias, Dave?
So I love acacias. The flowers are such a big presence. It's such a nice tree. They also fix nitrogen into the soil by forming nodes in their root systems. This creates areas where bacteria can thrive, and then that bacteria converts atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen that the soil can use. They are super tough. They can grow in a heap of really difficult conditions. There's a species in the snow called, unimaginatively, Acacia alpina, which means
The alpine acacia. Yes.
There's also a desert oak, Acacia caracea, which was made famous by the Midnight Oil song. If you've been somewhere in Australia, chances are you've been next to a wattle. However, did you know that their leaves aren't actually leaves?
I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I bring this up fairly regularly.
Yeah.
When acacias are young, they can have leaves, which are true leaves, but when they start to grow, they will develop phyllodes. And phyllodes will do everything a leaf can do, except it's not technically a leaf. Technically, it is a part of the stem that can still photosynthesize and that still dissipates water moisture. So they're considered an adaptation to dry conditions, allowing the plant to spread into arid areas because the phyllodes minimise water loss to transpiration. I'm also a big fan of what acacias can provide for humans. The wood is amazing. It has amazing tenor for musical instruments. It's used to make tools. Gidgee timber is exceptionally hard, light, and insect resistant. Some acacia species, this is my favourite new fact, some acacia species are found to include DMT, which are, psychotropics. The chemical breakdown is tryptamines, carbolines, histamines, and phenethylamines in acacia species. The Mount Buffalo wattle is one of the purest natural sources of the psychedelic drug. However, it is also critically endangered.
That's a marketing tool that we could approach it from to make it not critically endangered. It's like if you start producing them for agriculture, we could 2 for 1.
Unfortunately, they're difficult to propagate outside of its natural range.
Right.
So the main threats to the species are infection by gall fungus, an increase in wildfire frequency, and the frequency of collection for people to use it as a psychotropic.
Please don't go out there and collect them then.
No, but Wikipedia says that there are lots of the Mount Buffalo wattle in private gardens in Gatton.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which is a weird thing to note, but
that makes sense a little bit.
There's actually a list of species known to contain psychoactive alkaloids on Wikipedia, so have fun researching that, everyone. Aboriginal people across the continent also use acacia to make stimulants. This was noted by Joseph Banks in 1770. He wrote, "We observed that some, though but few, held constantly in their mouths the leaves of an herb which they chewed as a European does tobacco or East Indian betel. What sort of the plant was, we had no opportunity of learning." There is a rabbit hole you can go down of different trees that Aboriginal people used as intoxicants, depressants, or anaesthetics. It's fascinating. But to end on the acacia are just truly wonderful trees, beautiful flowers, fantastic phyllodes, too many uses to name. The gum can sweeten a drink. The leaves of the golden wattle can stun fish.
How do they do that?
So they they have saponin in their leaves, and when you rough that up, it soaps up, basically, and that will draw out the oxygen from a water area.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, sort of like the algal bloom, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. The timber can make your tools. The seeds were made into bread and sustained large gatherings. And the flowers indicate the start of Echidna breeding season.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that acacias are used for. But the best thing an acacia can do for me is provide shade for years. That's what I love about acacias.
I love the psychedelic effect of Grange acacias.
Yeah. So I did read an article that Vice did where a dude, I think up in the Blue Mountains, was mixing acacia leaves with ayahuasca.
Oh.
And, using that to microdose and trip.
Yeah.
It didn't get into what species he was using, but it's very well known now that they do have like psychotropic abilities.
Very cool.
Yeah.
If you're a city slicker and you want some psychedelics, don't go and collect from that critically endangered acacia, please. No. Just get fully synthetic,
yeah. I mean, other acacia species do have it, but that's the across the world. That is the one with the most highest,
the highest high.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Owen texted in and asked, will this be the start of the next Mushroom Diaries with psychotropic references? Yeah, I hope not. I hope no one decides to cook this up into a beef Wellington for their family.
Just get some kratom like a normal person.
Kratom?
It's like another plant that has similar effects to kava.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you're learning something new every day. That was my National Tree Day spiel. That's why I love trees. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us. We're going to go out soon, but first we've got a little thing I like to call the Bushcare Roundup. It's a Bushcare Roundup. They've been pulling out weeds, and then they put in trees. It's the Bushcare Roundup. All right, starting Saturday the 26th at 8 o'clock, you can go to the Oyster Basket Recycling Working Bee. That's at Port of Brisbane. At 9:30, you can go to the Short-Beaked Echidna survey. That's happening at the Lockyer Waters. And at 11 o'clock, you can go to Creek Explorers at Berrinba Wetlands in Browns Plains.
On Sunday the 27th from 8 till 10, there's the Lugg Street Bushcare Working Bee. That one is at 31 Nathan Avenue, Ashgrove. Then from 8 to 10 as well, there's the July Working Bee. That one is at 108 Jean Street, Grange. From 8:30 till 10:30, there is the Harman's Reserve Working Bee. That one is at 34 Wood Street, Manly. From 9 till 11, there is the Working Bee at Moore Park. That one is 189 at Taringa Parade, Taringa. And then finishing up from 9 till 11 a.m. as well, there is the Wittonga Park Bushcare. That one is at Wittonga Park in the Gap.
Yeah, and that's all we've got time for. Remember that Sunday is National Tree Day, and we are really appreciative that you guys tuned in today and listened to Eco Radio. If you want to stick around for the coolest cat on radio, Jordan is next with Sonic Aliens, and they're interviewing Ella Ion. So that's great. And, thanks very much for listening in. Get dirty this weekend, plant some trees, pull some weeds, just get a bit feral in the bush.
Yeah, or feral in your house.
Yeah.
No, but mostly in the bush.
Plant a tree wherever you can. Thanks very much. You've been listening to 4ZZZ. This is Eco Radio.